So what is our next? Our next story. So what do we know about AI? Well, AI has been the big thing here happening in the past year. Everything you could attach the name AI on, it would just gain traction on the market because it will revolutionize the way we work and the way we live. AI is going to change the world. We have these large language models that are super smart. They're going to build a website and they're going to replace so many jobs that we wouldn't know what to do with our time anymore. So AI is pretty much in every sector. And you would not believe where AI has been used. AI is being used as a tool to evaluate the crime scenes for law enforcement, and prosecutors use an AI tool to send a man to prison for life. Now the person who created it is under investigation. Who would have known? Look at this. Do you think the system is reliable? Do you think the system is helpful to law enforcement officers, to the judicial system, the justice system? Well, let's find out. In America, when you're charged with a crime, you're afforded the right to face your accuser. But what happens where your accuser isn't human? This is a nice story. Listen up. In 2022, over 5 days in Akron, Ohio, jurors in the murder trial of a 19-year-old named Adaris Black heard from 17 witnesses, none of whom could place Black at the scene of a drive-by shooting that killed Nakia Crawford. They viewed surveillance footage, none of which showed Black in the car from which the bullet was fired. They were told the police had tried and failed to find Black's DNA in the car. Now, witnesses saw Black with the driver of the car at a party shortly before the shooting. One witness testified that he saw Black leave with the driver. Another witness said that the driver was with someone but couldn't identify the person. The car was seen speeding past Crawford at the time of the shooting, but prosecutors had no direct evidence tying Black to the location of the murder, an Ohio appellate court later said. But hey, they had a secret weapon, the testimony of Adam Mosher and his AI-powered crime-fighting tool, Cybercheck. So this is a tool, listen up. Mosher testified in court that Cybercheck, using 1 million lines of code and 740 proprietary algorithms, spent 25 days poring over hundreds of terabytes of publicly available data to triangulate Black's cell phone at the time of the murder and place him within a few feet of the crime scene with more than 90% accuracy. Mosher told jurors that his technology could detect when a phone pings a nearby Wi-Fi network in a fully automated process that could be performed without the phone itself. A lawyer from Black, who had been appointed by the court 4 days before the start of the trial, never questioned these claims. So a juror deliberated for less than 4 hours before returning a guilty verdict. So Black's attorney, who interviewed members of the jury after the verdict, claimed in a post-trial motion that the jurors said that they would not have convicted Black without Mosher and his Cybercheck report. Mosher and Cybercheck were the sole basis of conviction, Black's attorney wrote. Wow, look at this case. So the AI basically placed the phone, triangulated the position, and made Black at the scene of the crime. So they accused him of having been involved in the driving, the shoot-by. So Black is one of many criminal defendants whose fate have been determined by Cybercheck's secret algorithm. The program has popped up in cases. Look, this program has been popping up in cases like Colorado, New York, and Florida. Wow. And the company claims that, wow, they have a proven success with more than 300 cases, including 209 homicide cases, and also filing that in New York, they claim that the legal filings have been done for 8,000 cases. Wow. And they also say that, like, wow, 100 law enforcement agencies that have contracted with Cybercheck, including police departments in Philadelphia, Houston, and Denver. But serious questions have been raised about the program and his reliability. So they went from they went through the whole system here, and they found issues with the identity of this person, this Mosher guy, and his resume basically finds that there's irregularities in the story, and there's many other reviews. But this guy is really shady too. They say that it's shady because of his resume, his past. And they say that in one case, the judge threw out Cybercheck evidence, and prosecutors in two others have withdrawn Cybercheck reports. Mosher could face contempt of court charges in another case, and Sheriff's Department for Summit County, Ohio, has investigated whether he provided false information in court, according to two people that are familiar with the matter. So many of these claims are hard to verify, and AI with all this data that comes around, they really don't know that they go through these billions of data and parameters. We really don't know if the data is really precise, it can be trusted. And this is something that might bring issues, especially for cases like this, because you might accuse somebody of being innocent, but the AI is going to find that you're guilty. So this is really one of those situations where it's really up to the technology at this point to see if you're guilty or not. But defense attorneys face an uphill battle in trying to challenge the reliability of evidence generated using AI. So you cannot cross-examine the AI. That is true. So prosecutors are generally required to turn over all the evidence during the discovery process. And companies like Cybercheck can argue the algorithms and training data that power these AI tools are proprietary trade secrets of the private companies that develop them, and therefore can be disclosed. So you cannot cross-examine how the AI works, how they assemble the data, how they produce this. Once you feed them all this information, what is their method? What is the methodology, the strategy? How does the system here is going to accuse somebody of being at a scene or of being the murderer or the killer, so that's something that they need to find out. And in many cases, prosecutors themselves don't even have access to the source code and haven't reviewed the underlying technology. It then falls to local judges who likely don't have doctorates in computer science or understanding of high-level matrix math to decide whether to grant access to the defense. Now, who has the expertise of these systems? The operator, the technician, the computer guy that brings the system that makes it work. So who controls him? Is he going to omit some information? Because these AIs, they're as good as the information that you feed them. Well, look at the ChatGPT, leaning extremely to the left, favoring gender ideology. There have been many cases. You either say the expletive N-word to somebody or in order to deactivate a nuclear explosion, and the AI system says, no, you should never say that word, even in the case of the nuclear explosion. But you say, hey, but the nuclear explosion can kill hundreds of thousands of people. And the AI says, no, you shouldn't use it. So there is this extreme. So these models are as good as the information you feed into it. So that's something really crazy that it's really hard to wrap your head around it, And in Summit County, Ohio, prosecutors were using Cybercheck for nearly 2 years before someone started asking questions. Wow. That's incredible. So yeah, no questions. You cannot ask questions. And Dave Houston encountered the software in 2022 when they took the case and somebody else was charged with the death of another man. And in that case, the court filing said a Cybercheck report linked the person to an email address. and an IP address that together placed the suspect at the scene of the crime. Well, through an email address. Look at this. And then they hired, in order to counter this information, these accusations here from Cybercheck, they hired some digital forensic expert, and they started looking at it, and they really didn't know what they found. And the first thing that they needed is to find access to it. And the judge ordered the prosecutors to turn over the source code, but the prosecutor refused. So they want to know, how do you connect this email address to the suspect that you think the guy that committed the crime? But wait, can we find out how Cybercheck connected all the dots and is accusing this person to be the suspect? I don't understand, because guess what? The prosecutors, the lawyers, they don't even know what they're doing. So you could just go blind and just go trust the system here. So the prosecutor said, no, we don't have it. We can get it. And Adam Mosher won't give it to you. So the guy that created the algorithm here for the system. So that's insane. That's insane. So the judges cannot request the information because Mosher needed to provide the details. And of course they would say, oh, that's proprietary information. We cannot disclose our source code. We cannot disclose how we get to these conclusions, but you're guilty. Okay, how am I guilty? Oh, the email address here connected you to the case, so you're guilty. So you're the criminal. Yeah, that's something that's insane. I don't, and technicians were unable to read or analyze or locate anything that pertained to the case. It's they only know. And let me see, based upon the information, yeah, that's the defendant cannot even prepare the case because you get denied access because of undisclosed proprietary information from the software program, because you cannot really find out. And one of the last thing that I was here it mentions other case. This is an article on Business Insider. If you're interested, you can just go and find it and read it. And there's something that in the final, they show other cases where this technology is really alarming, and it's something that it's. They say that many more agencies are using the system because to basically solve these cases, and I had the info here. It was the last paragraph. So they say here in the end, it is unclear how many others may be behind bars because of Cybercheck evidence that was never regularly scrutinized. And they're using the information, they're really going deep in this, because they even use, they were saying in the UK, with all the craziness that is going on in the UK with the protests and anything, that you cannot even use social media for anything, because they would accuse you, they put you in jail for crimes and shit. So they're using a predictive model that will predict if you will commit a crime. How insane is that? And they're using these systems here that are not proven. You don't know how they work. You don't know on what basis they accuse you. And do we really need to give our agency and our trust fully to these systems? They already do mistakes on their own. ChatGPT creates references from studies that do not exist, and you really need to probe and inquire, because these things do not exist. At the moment, they're really good as assistants. However, I think that these systems might be so good that people would just give them trust and just pretty much give them all the workload and trust their words as they are. So people don't write papers anymore for school because you can use ChatGPT to do that. Even if you have systems nowadays that are able to track if you're using AI to do your assignments. But who knows? These systems here are kind of killing the human creativity, because these systems cannot replace human creativity, but they're really getting close and closer and closer and closer. And I'm afraid that in a few years, the gap would be filled. But in this case here, I really do not know how things would go, because this is incredible. When I found this article here, I was just reading it, and I was, wow, I said, this is insane. We cannot really go to this way. If you ever watched the movie with Tom Cruise, Minority Report, you go and see that, where they would arrest people in this very unconventional way. They would have these kind of, you know what a pizia is? The pizia is an oracle, the Oracle of Delphi in ancient Greece. And I think these were like three women. They were in this tub, basically immersed in water. And they would feel when a crime or a person was about to happen. And they would tell through, I don't know if these ladies were special or something, but they were able to convey the names. And the officers would just jump on the scene right before the crime was about to occur, and they would just arrest the person and bring it away, and they created an environment with zero crimes. And of course the system got abused. And go watch the movie if you want to see how it's going to end. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you for following up this episode, and follow up for more. I'll see you next time. Bye.